What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the Real Ones, Real Talks podcast. I'm Will, here with my guy, Jon.
What's up, y'all?
And today we're diving into a topic that hits home for a lot of people, the in-between seasons of life. Those seasons where life feels a little uncertain. You're moving forward, but you're not fully where you want to be yet. Maybe it's starting out a career, figuring out relationships, or even just trying to understand who you are and where God is leading you. It can feel exciting, but also confusing and heavy at times. The truth is, we weren't created to walk through these seasons alone. Community and connection can make all the difference, and today we've got the perfect guest to help us unpack that. We're joined today by Drew and Skylar. They are young adults. They are a young adults leader for our church, and someone who has a front row seat to the real struggle and real growth young adults go through every day. We're going to talk about the challenges people face, but don't always share out loud, and how faith and relationships can help you navigate those transitions. That being said, Drew, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Drew. I am lead young adult singles at our church. 26. Been married to my lovely wife Skylar for 6.5 years now, which is cool. And we have two little girls, Ember and Harlow, which is crazy. Like, Arlo's turning 2 literally in a week, and Ember turns 4 in November. Just time goes by fast. And so for work, I'm an account manager for a marketing agency. So do promotional business, and anything you put a logo on, it's what I do. So that's a little bit about me.
Right on. Skylar?
I'm Skylar, and I am leading alongside of Drew with Young Singles. We've been doing it for a couple years now, and we love it. And obviously, mom and wife. And I am also working from home for an eye company, ophthalmology.
Right on. Jon, you want to break into our first question here?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm struggling today. So, just kind of like a opener question. So, when was the last time you had a wow, I really don't have it all figured out moment?
Like 2 weeks ago, when I realized I need to get rid of my truck, and I'm already on my 7th vehicle. Dude, it's bad. Like,
7's crazy.
It is crazy, right? I'm only 26. I'm already on my 7th vehicle. I don't know. It's a stupid one. But I don't know. A wow moment, man. I haven't really figured it out. I don't know. I mean, things, change all the time. I mean, I don't know.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Is like, for me, wow, I haven't figured this out moment is like all the time for me.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a little funny story. So I have a Harley, right? And
Which
just
you
got this-
swore you never were gonna get
Okay.
on.
Yeah,
I'm
Mr.
not gonna
I'm
dive
gonna
into
keep
that.
my
Okay, listen. But I didn't know how to kill switch it. Like, well, not kill switch, but how to lock my ignition. And I thought there's just no possible way, right? And so I bring it in on Friday, and one of the HVAC guys walk up, and I've been telling everyone, like, someone can just come up and steal this bike. Like, there's no security to like lock the ignition out. He looks at me straight in the face, looks down, flips a switch. I'm like, that's where the key goes. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, I don't have this figured out, I guess.
It's the small things, man. I remember I was leaving work once, and it was shortly after I got my truck. And it's an older truck. It's, an '05 Dodge Ram. And, but I got it, and the guy did a bunch of different things to it. It's like got subs in it, and it's lifted, and it has 2 key fobs that didn't come OEM. And so I'm like, okay, so he's got a security system on it. Well, I'm opening up one of my bay doors, and I'm about to walk out, and all of a sudden my truck just starts, and I'm like, what in the world? This is crazy. I freak out. I'm like, someone's in my truck right now, and they're about to steal it. And I literally run over there, like, kind of, off guard a little bit. And I look in there, and I'm like, there's nobody in my truck. And I look down, and there is a button on my key fob, and it's got a remote start. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. It's a crazy way to figure it out. But I'm like, I I don't have everything figured out, man. I didn't know my truck had a remote start. I wish I knew that, when it was like 10 degrees outside and
Yeah.
had to go out there and start my truck. But
Yeah, it makes you feel dumb.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit.
I would say for me is household stuff.
Mm.
So like being in your 20s and then like you finally like are on your own, the stuff you forget about. So my mailman probably hates me because I check my mail like every 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh man, I haven't. Or okay, actually, this is the worst one. Taking out the garbage. I always forget. It's on Tuesday night, and I always forget it.
Mm.
I can't do it.
Yeah, ours is tonight actually, so I made sure to take it out before you guys came over. So
I saw that.
yeah, make sure it's out. Yeah, I would say another one is now it's gotten a little bit better, but I remember when we first got married, even when I first like moved in on my own and outside of my parents' house, was buying food, but like buying too much and it would just go to waste, and so that was, and I'm not great at it, still to this day of like getting something or forgetting it's there and then it just goes to waste. Right. So I would say it's a bad one, but
I think for me, there's like a lot of times where there's like 2 days out of the week where I'm able to just do everything correctly and get everything done, check everything off the list. You start the day off with reading, and then you maybe get a workout in, and then you're like, sweet, my kids aren't throwing a tantrum. Awesome, dinner's made and cleaned up before young adults come over. And I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. And then like the next day, like all heck breaks loose and everything goes wrong. And then I'm like, oh, I'm actually just a normal human being and not perfect.
yeah, all the time. I think it just goes in waves. You feel like everything's going well. It's the weather's beautiful, which by the way, this week I'm excited because the weather's going to be really great. But um, and work's going good. You come home and like the kids are going great. Like it's just life's good, right? But then something happens, or I don't know, like the kids throw a tantrum over this silliest thing, and like this wasn't a big deal yesterday, but now it's a big deal. And it's just it goes in waves.
Yeah, it's always fun going over to my sister's house in like the middle of the week. So like if we have family over, whatever, she'll clean the house meticulous. And you're like, wow, your house is like so clean. And you go over during the week and it is like a tornado went through. And you're like, what on earth?
Yeah, it's a perfect example of our house, dude. Like seriously, and that's something like that's changed in me. Like when I was younger, I didn't give a crap. My room was the messiest. My car was and my truck's still kind of messy, but like I didn't give a crap. But you move out on your own and you realize actually I care about what my place looks like before people come over. That's like something I never was crazy on before, but now that's like kind of like an OCD thing for me. I got to make sure that everything's picked up and clean and presentable before people come over. Like Thursday is a big example of that, but on a normal day, it's messy, and it's just one of those things you just got to realize. You got little ones, they're gonna mess everything up. So
When Drew was younger, one of his biggest like things when people would come over would be like, you have to make sure the basement's spotless, vacuum the basement. And I remember him and Ellie also just being like, like I hate this, why do I have to do this alone, blah blah blah. And then now when people come over, I'm like, yeah, like it was a rough day, I don't really care if toys are laying around. He's like, no, we have to clean this up right now before they show up.
yeah, no, it's weird. It's changed to me.
So kind of leading into our next question, you guys are obviously married. Especially being married in your early 20s, because you guys been together, what, 6 years?
Yeah, 6.
And so what was a hard truth you guys had to learn after getting married?
Communication. I would say, I mean, we've been together a total of 11 years, right? So, so yeah, 5 before getting married, 6 now. And we learned some hard truths back then about communication, but living with someone, uh, it's like, all right, I can't just go and do my own thing anymore and not like communicate with them about it, right? I can't like stay out late after work and be like, oh, it's okay, right? And not say anything. And then come home and think everything's going to be okay. It's like, no, like, where were you? Like, I want to spend time with you. Like, I want to do things with you. And so like I had to learn some hard truths about that, right? Like I got to communicate if I want to do something, or let her know like, hey, is it cool if because it's not just me on my own, right? Anymore. It's like, no, we're one, together, um, living together. And, so I would say, communication, was absolutely something, and just being up and, honest and not, just one of those things like can't go out and do it, whatever I, wanted and stuff. Like we, just want to make sure that I'm mindful, right? And then not assuming, that's a big one. Like, don't assume, if, you're thinking a certain way or whatever, like, I think communication goes into that too. It's like, being up and honest with them and talking through, but I would say that's probably one of the hardest truths I had to learn.
I would also say just not coexisting with one another. It's very easy to coexist and to not communicate, whether if it's how is your day or how can I better serve you. It's very easy to just come home, do our own thing, lay in bed, scroll on our phones, but just communicating with one another, and just making sure that we are reassuring one another and remembering that we're on the same team. I think it's very easy to just forget in the day of all the crazy things and all of the maybe bickering or whatever, that you are on the same team with your spouse. And that was kind of a hard thing to learn and just kind of remember throughout the early couple years of marriage, but also like as we've been having kids as well.
Yeah. I would agree. Like just being intentional, like about that, right? And just being intentional about, um, being present, with one another. Um, and I mean, it's not to say that we didn't love each other because obviously we did, but like to your point, it's easy to come home and to coexist and be like veg out and just like, I just want to lay on the couch and watch TV, right? Or I just want to scroll through my phone. Um, and I'm not saying that those are bad things. I think, it's warranted, in some areas. And, but at the same time, it's like, well, no, like, let's have a conversation. Let's talk, let's communicate, let's be present with one another. And it's like, I want to learn about like what you're going, like, how was your day? Like legit, how was your day? I would say something that, we did was, or we learned is to like schedule out, like weekly meetings, at least to talk. Especially now it's different. Like we have kids and, you name it, but, it's so important to like have that time for ourselves to really just rest, but also like talk through like, hey, what's going, like, how are you doing? Like legit, how are you doing? And, how can I help you currently right now? What is something that I'm not doing? Right. What's something, what is one thing I'm doing to encourage you? And really just like have like good communication and conversation with one another, so that we're on the same page. Because it's so easy to coexist, with one another, but you'll start to separate eventually, and you just don't want that. So
Yeah. To kind of pull some comedy in, because I'm sure we might even be like pulling you guys out or starting arguments here on the podcast. But
oh gosh,
what are things? Well, I guess this is when you first got married, or you can do current too.
yeah.
But what are some things you harped over when you first got married? But it's not a big deal now, or vice versa. Or we could even do current. Like that would be funny.
Right, so kind of how the like dynamic changed. So like your honeymoon phase of early marriage, oh, that's so cute how he does this. And then now, like, I absolutely hate his guts because he does this. Something like that.
Kendra was talking about that.
Yeah.
I would say golf. No.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I'm starting to hate that.
Don't hate on golf.
Golf's
I'm hating
It's
on
so
golf.
much fun.
I think at the very early bit of marriage, it was very like you're in the honeymoon phase, and like I'm not saying it is not important to focus on everybody's or each other's love language and the things that fill each other's bucket, but we were so like focused on like we have to spend every waking moment together. And so now it's like we have like carved out time, like intentional time. That now I'm like, okay, if you want to golf once a month, whatever. And like sometimes golf is annoying. I do agree. But in the early stages of marriage, I would have been like, just, I want to spend every waking moment with you.
Yeah.
Now you guys are like, yeah, go golf. Yeah, please
Thank
leave the
goodness.
house.
Get out of the house.
She just sent me a reel on Instagram about like now I love having him go golf because he comes home with like gifts for me because he feels bad or whatever.
It was
like he'll
awesome.
bring like he'll like it was a video of like guy bringing home coffee and flowers, and she's like, I actually love it when you go off now because I know I'm getting something in return.
So did you pick up on that hint?
Yeah, did you pick
I
up on
just
that?
sent that to him 2 hours ago, if that.
Yeah.
So
I,
now
I
every
picked
time-
up on the hit. I picked up on it. It just gives me an excuse to go golfing more, right?
He's gonna bring
It's
nothing
worth it.
back to you. He's bringing nothing.
Yeah.
Like you thought you could. You thought I would. I
Right.
ain't doing it.
It's like
Not
I
doing
found
it
this ball
anymore.
on the golf course.
It was pink.
I wrote your
thought it was
name
for
on
you.
it. I wrote your name on it.
Yeah.
This golf ball reminded me of you.
Here's a broken tee.
It's pink. It's pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, what is one thing that I harped on? I don't know. I'm like, I would say to your point, you know, we definitely, in regards to like being with each other and stuff. But I don't know.
He just doesn't want to say. He don't
Yeah,
want to
he
get in
doesn't
trouble.
want to get in trouble.
We get it. We get it.
This is a safe space.
It is a
Guys,
safe,
You can
help
share.
me.
it is a safe.
I'll go grab the popcorn right now. Let's
Yeah.
open this can.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it kind of counterintuitive like with what we were talking about, counterintuitive to what we were just talking about. But I remember like when we first got married, like we made sure everything was like clean and tidied, like in the house. Dishes are away before we go to bed. Like there was no dishes in the sink, nothing like that. Right. Everything was clean. Everything was tidy. And like there was like a routine, but now it's not like that. It's not like that anymore. Yes, before people come over, but if there's like dishes in the sink or whatever, like, yeah, we got the next day. Like we don't care anymore.
There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. Like there's times where we go to bed, I'm like, there's clothes, you know, like I would say laundry, we were pretty good, you know, in the beginning. Yeah.
We've never been good at
Oh,
laundry.
come on. It wasn't like,
It was more just like the general house area. Like everything had to be swept, everything had to be mopped, everything had to be like put in its place before we'd go to bed. Nothing could be on the table. There may have been like a dish in the sink, but then like our laundry was always piled up
yeah, well,
because we were on the opposite side of the house as our laundry room.
oh, that's right. Yeah, because it was in the
Mhm.
basement of our first home. I thought it was always annoying because I would like fall asleep on the couch, and like I would have like maybe a bag of chips or whatever, and she's like, "Go put it away," and I'm like, "No, I'm going to bed." She's like, "No, you're putting it away right now." I'm like, "Come on." So it would just be super annoying. But now it's like whatever, you know, like it doesn't matter anymore. I would say that's
We can
probably
leave the bag of chips in our bed open, like we'll figure it out tomorrow.
yeah.
That's tomorrow's problem.
That's tomorrow's problem. So I would say that's probably.
Wake up with a bag of crumbled chips in the bed, wondering how I got there.
Hey, that is actually a pet peeve of mine. I hate crumbs in the bed. Dude,
Beds are for sleeping. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. There's no eating in a bed.
Unless it's Taco Bell at 10 p.m. But our daughter does like to bring little snackies in our bed, and that's where he's
that's
talking
what
about the crumbs.
that's what gets me. I'm laying down All right. And then all of a sudden I like turn over. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, I get up and there's like a bunch of crumbs. I'm like, where did the crumbs come from? She's like, oh yeah, that's Harlow. I'm like, come on. At least you could clean it up.
It's hard to clean crumbs off of bed sheets though, unless
Yeah,
you're
you-
taking that thing off and you're
Nah, dude, you just
flinging it
take
in the
your
air.
hand and just,
Nah, dude,
No.
they're still gonna be there.
No.
Trust me, you think you got them all, but the second you lay down, you're getting poked. Like, I thought I
I
just cleaned
agree.
these up.
yeah. So
And you're letting a child in your bed that like, oh man, I couldn't do it because
Locks on the doors.
they can't like eat clean. I don't
Oh,
think there's a single food
that'll
item.
change when you have kids, John. They'll get in your bed. Like,
No, like
It'll get
that.
to the
Okay, yeah, but I'm talking eating in your bed.
oh, eating in the
'Cause
bed? Yeah.
It's all over their face, and then their
fingers.
nose is running, and
Mhm.
Hey,
Nope.
man, that's part of it.
then they wipe it out.
That's part of it.
Nope, I'm out.
I always wipe their nose with my shirt. Everyone's like, "Where's a tissue?" And I'm like, "Here's my shirt. Give me your nose."
Yeah, dude, things change when you have kids. You're like, what? Like, you're keeping them alive, right? And yeah,
Here's a question. So, you're pretty social. I think both of you guys are pretty social young adults, like not married. Do you guys get more sleep now that you have kids and you're married, or when you were young adults, single?
so for me, I'm just gonna be completely honest. I'm a heavy sleeper. All right, so I get about the same. It hasn't really changed. All right, so I mean, I would say newborn stage is different. Like in the newborn stage, yeah, it's you're up every 2 hours. I mean, there's even moments where I would sleep in or sleep through, and she would be the one waking up, which isn't cool. But um, I don't know. It differs because I remember I used to, and it's gone in ways because I used to go to bed at like 9:00, 9:30. I'd fall asleep. Like when we first got married, I would be falling asleep like at 9:30, and like there would be times where we'd go hang out with friends and stuff, and I'd go to bed late, but I was always in bed by 11. Now, I mean, I'm not going to bed until like 11:30, 12 o'clock, right? So
And it's our doing.
it is 100% our doing. But at the same time, it's difficult too because like we don't actually get time with one another until the girls go down, and the girls don't go down until 8:30, right? And so after that, it's like, hey, now this is a time for us to talk and debrief and you name it. And usually, we'll be watching a show or whatnot. But where I'll be in bed, we'll both be scrolling through our phones, which isn't a good habit, but
It's a great waste of time scrolling through Reels or TikTok.
not a good habit, but man, is it addicting. It's unfortunately addicting. So
Yeah, I think it's the same for me because I've just never been a sleeper. Like growing up when I was younger, my family would always be like, "Okay, like you need to go to bed at this time, whatever." And I would still go to bed at like 11 and I'm like 6, and I'd wake up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., where now it's kind of like the same. Like we'll go to bed at 12, sometimes 1 for me because I just can't shut my brain off. And then I'll wake up at like 7:30 with the girls. So I feel like it's very like same schedule, same amount of time. But
yeah,
that's a good question.
but I would say all in all, probably less now, but it really hasn't differed much.
Well,
In
yeah,
the
you're a
current
heavy
season,
sleeper,
it's-
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
baby's screaming. He fake sleeps, right?
Oh, for sure.
He's like, "Yep, I'm asleep." I do not hear that baby screaming
I'm not gonna lie.
right next to me.
I may have done that a time or two.
Oh, yeah, I know.
May have done that a time or two.
This is where the fights start.
Yeah.
Grab
We've
your
already known. We've already
popcorn.
known this. It's nothing new.
All right, so back to kind of the young adults thing. So this is just a funny question: is what's your go-to struggling young adult meal? So like ramen noodles, cereal, DoorDash.
I guess you got to define struggling. Like if you're saying,
Like you haven't been to the grocery store and you're just, something like you always keep a staple in your house or something.
oh yeah, Taco Bell.
I was gonna say, I hear a bell ringing. I knew what their answer is.
Oh yeah, it's Taco Bell. We had it last night. It was one of those things where we were leaving the worship night at church, and we both look at each other, and the girls already ate, and I was like, what do you want? She's like, here, you know what? I was like, yeah, Taco Bell. It's good. It's one of those things where like we look at like we don't get it until like after. Like I've never had Taco Bell in the middle of the day. Like it's just never happened.
Oh, I have.
Maybe 1 or 2 times. It's always post 10 p.m. that I've had Taco Bell. Like I mean, it was so bad when we were living in Trenton because there was a Taco Bell 2 minutes from us.
Oh yeah, there's like nothing in Trenton.
Well,
There's
and that
actually a
was,
little
like,
bit more, but
big
yeah,
craving of mine when I was pregnant.
it was with
Mhm.
with Ember, and I would be laying in bed 12 a.m. I'm like, yeah, let's get Taco Bell. Sometimes it was really bad, and we would DoorDash it, and it was literally only 2 minutes away because I was just lazy and didn't want to get
That's
out
you
and go,
bum.
dude. Like, it was bad, but 100% Taco Bell.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Will might know mine. So I'm a recovering DoorDash addict. I've been
Hey.
clean for. Actually, hold on.
Hi, John.
I think does traveling count? It's like if I'm traveling and I don't like feel like leaving my hotel room, I'll DoorDash food.
Yeah.
But the company pays for that, so it's not coming out of me. So I'm gonna exclude that. I've been sober for like I think a month and a half, almost 2 months of DoorDash free.
Hey, that's good, man.
But mine was wings and rings.
Wings and Rings.
Wings and rings.
Wings and Rings is good.
Yes. Oh, fire.
What would you get from Wings and Rings?
So I would be semi-smart. I would order like the family like party pack, like the tailgate pack,
Mm-hmm.
and it would last me like 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
So you get like 50 wings. You get the pretzel bites are so good.
Mm-hmm.
The pretzel bites, the wedges, and then you get like chips and salsa or something.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
mine.
Yeah.
I love wings and rings
Oh my god.
and roosters.
Oh, Roosters is so good.
I love them both, and for their different reasons. I think the sauces are better at wings and rings,
Mm-hmm.
but like classic wings, roosters, 100%. I haven't been there in forever.
Roosters. And I believe that they're on DoorDash now.
Roosters?
I might
Stop.
He's
Stop,
been sober
dude.
for a month and
Yeah,
a half.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
My bad,
messed
but-
up. No, it's not on DoorDash.
Yeah. I need to delete the app.
I was about to say,
Give me
you
your
should have
phone.
deleted
No,
it. That should
delete
have been
that.
the first step of sobering up
No.
from DoorDash.
Yeah.
And do
Yeah.
you still have the Dash Pass?
No, I haven't had Dash Pass in a little bit.
All right, that's good. I was addicted too. When I was-
Actually, you know what? I probably lied. I don't know.
yeah,
Probably I do. I should probably go cancel that.
yeah. I used to DoorDash all the time back when I was working in logistics and when we first got married. Well, even before that. And I look back now and I'm like, holy crap! How did I justify paying all that money going through DoorDash?
The cost has definitely gone up.
Yeah, you're right. It has gone up. I was the guy every Friday. I would do a Cinnabon DoorDash run. Well, I would just get everybody's order for Cinnabon, and I would order it on DoorDash every Friday. Working at the logistics company that I worked at. Not ashamed of that. Cinnabon's so good.
Speaking of Cinnabon, so we had we had like a work trade show in Nashville, and we stayed at the Gaylord, like the Grand Ole Opry.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful hotel. Loved it. They had a Cinnabon right outside of like the Expo showroom floor. I tell you what, they made so much money
Oh yeah.
because guess what? Breakfast, Cinnabon.
Mm.
Oh, like mid-afternoon snack, guess what? Cinnabon. Late night snack after going out and getting dinner, Cinnabon.
Yeah, dude, that's the one thing I miss about Tri-County Mall.
Yeah.
You walk through those doors of Tri-County Mall and you
Oh,
just
you
smell the
smell it.
Cinnabon right there. Mm.
I did not like Cinnabon until Drew and I started dating. It was like a
Nostalgic
year or
memories.
2 into it. And he's like, I don't really know if we're going to last. And I was like, okay, I guess I gotta like it.
About that.
But I only like the gooey center ones. Like it's not like
Yeah, it's the best part.
Like I don't get the big ones. I don't even know if they still sell them. But it was just like the smaller ones or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they still. Yeah, I'm sure they still sell the inner stuff. But
All right, well, you're up. What's yours? If you're like- And it better not be chicken.
Chicken. I feel like it's just depending on like what phase I'm in, because like I would say Chipotle, but I don't have like a go-to thing where I'm like, oh man, I need this. Right now, I have a big 48-ounce bag of Reese's Pieces in the basement that I've just been munching
that's
on,
crazy.
dude.
Hey, I would
They're
say for
good.
you, Brookside chocolates.
No,
Oh yeah,
He-
Yes.
we so
cranberry.
I told him to get
Pomegranate.
me a bag, and he finally did. And I brought it home that night, like all excited, like, yeah, I'm gonna game all night and eat this bag. I ate like 3, and I was like, dude, I think I kind of hate these.
Is it the fruit?
No, it was just, I guess it was just too much because like in my mind I was like going to put down half this bag, but it took me like 3 weeks to get through that thing.
I've evolved. I used to be able to eat like a whole bag in one sitting. They're just like crack.
Mm.
Now it's like I can have them in the little like container for like a month.
Mhm.
And I'll go by, grab a little handful, pop them in, do whatever I'm doing. I'm good.
They're kind of stale. Because when I was at your house, I grabbed some and I'm like, dude, these are kind of stale.
I feel like that's a lot of stuff in my house.
Yeah.
So you guys talked earlier
I
about.
was about to say, yeah.
Well, I hate if it's perishable. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm gone so much that I live on like the skillet meals and like Hamburger Helper.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Hamburger Helper is
if
so
it
good.
if it can't perish, we're good.
Yeah. Produce. Yeah.
I quit buying produce. I quit
Produce
buying
get
produce,
bad.
fruit, any like not frozen thing.
Unless I know that I'm going to eat it within like the next 2 days, I just wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, I feel that. It's so difficult. Now it's easy. It should be easier with you guys because like you
It's a lot
are
easier.
multiple people.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Especially the girls will eat it, so like things don't go to waste in the house now.
And we
actually
grow our
run-
produce too. So
Yeah, we do. We have a garden outside, so
Nice. I grew
That's all
sweet
I'll do.
corn this year.
sweet corn.
Sweet corn in my backyard, and then I have candy cane pepper. I have like 3 or 4 different peppers. I got onions, potatoes, zucchini. No, not zucchini. Squash. Yeah, squash. My sister put that there. So,
Nice.
but yeah. So it turned out all right. But all right, so we're gonna kind of transition. We're running a little bit of behind schedule, so we're gonna transition to kind of the serious portion. So, we're just gonna kind of dive into that. So, in your guys' experience leading young adults, what role does community play in navigating the transition?
I mean, I think it means a lot. Just because, I mean, especially when you're graduating high school and you're trying to figure out, like, am I going to college? Am I going to not go to college? Am I going to try to find a career? There's just so many new things and so many things that you don't know. And so you get excited about that and you get excited about, doing something new but you figure out pretty quickly that, wow, this is difficult. Adulting is hard, and the responsibility is hard. And so the community, I think, kind of gives a sense of accountability, but also like a group of people who are like, hey, we're going through this together. Either they're going through it together, or there's already people who've gone through it and they know what, it's like, hey, like going through college and trying to find a job. And I mean, right now, I know the market is crazy, right? And so like, we have a few that are young adults that are, trying to find new employment or find a job or whatever. It's hard, it's difficult. But I think it's so important to be able to go through that with other people who are in that same boat, so that you're not feeling alone, you're not feeling hopeless, you're not feeling like, man, this is just so difficult. And to have an outlet that you can rest, but you can also like verbally, talk about those things, talk about, what you're struggling with, talk about the good and the bad, to celebrate and to also encourage in that as well. And so, yeah, I would say that's kind of, how community kind of navigates that. It's just really just being able to be there with one another, but more importantly, it is having that centered, on God, on Jesus, because I think it can get so easy to get lost or to get stressed or have anxiety be the thing that drives your day or just your identity, really. and to be reminded that our hope is not placed within within school or within, where you're at, whether it's a job or whatever activity that you're placing yourself in, but, it's not found in that. It's found in the Lord. And to have like-minded people who also know that to be true, also encouraging you through that, is massive. So
I would say too that when we also experience that, we also experience the whole transitioning into young adults. So we kind of saw and experienced what to do and what not to do. And then also just what worked, what didn't work, what we longed for, and so I think, depending on what area of transition, what area of community we're talking about, when you're transitioning from high school to young adults, something big for us is we try to connect with the seniors who are coming in, to build that community even ahead of time. But then later on, as they do transition in, and we're building that community within the ministry, once they're in there, it's just so important, because when you go to a new job or a new school or new group or club or whatever, you want to have a relationship with somebody already. You want to know somebody there. So a lot of the times, if somebody goes to a new church or a new whatever, they sometimes are invited by a friend, and that's why they start going. So the relationship and the community that's built beforehand is detrimental, honestly. And then just knowing that we are not meant to do it alone. So the role that community plays in it, is just so that we can really link arms, and they can just have people who's either one experience the same things, or who can hold them accountable and encourage them to whatever is going on in their life.
I agree with that. So I actually started coming to, I always want to say Lindenwold. It's embedded in my head. Started coming to the church shortly after high school. I was in the kind of limbo stage because I was in a church transition just because of, every church has drama and everything. So looking for a different church, and my mom and sister found a church, and I was like, okay, I'll go there, whatever. My family goes there.
Mhm.
And the difficulty laid is I was looking to get plugged in, and I was like, okay, young adults. And at the time, that church, there's a gap. So you graduate high school, and then they had 30s. There was nothing. I was like, okay. I'm like, well, this sucks. Okay, whatever. I'll just continue doing what I'm doing, whatever. Go to church on Sunday. That's about it. And then it was actually Cameron. He was coworkers with my mom. And they went out for dinner or whatever. My mom's like, oh, come to dinner. There's a guy, I think you guys would get along. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, whatever. And it's kind of weird because I was like, dude, this dude's weird. And I'm like, no. So we started talking, and he invited me to church, and I was like, I don't know. So I remember the first time I went to one church is I was sitting in the parking lot, and Cameron was late. And I'm like, I'm not walking to this church. I'm like, I'm just going to leave. So Cameron was like, he finally shows up. He's like, I'm here. Where are you at? I'm like, I'm sitting in my car. He's like, you didn't go in? I'm like, no, I'm not going in. I'm like, I'm not walking in. And then went in and everything, and then kind of got plugged in. So that's kind of, I was lost until that introduction of bringing a friend or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that. Looking back, as that was a, right time, right place that the Lord led me to go. So
yeah, man. And young adults looks a lot different now than what it was.
OG young adults.
You
weren't even there for that.
No.
We were OG young adults with you, man. We were going through that with you.
You
I
guys
remember.
are
I think
old.
the first time you came, you got introduced. So I remember that Sunday night. But yeah, now it's, more, I wouldn't say laid back. I mean, in a way, because we host at our house. I do that. We do that on purpose, really, just because we want it to be an atmosphere that, it's comfortable for new people to come and get plugged in. I would say, we've seen, some pretty cool growth over the last couple of weeks with some new people joining. And yeah, the young, the seniors who just graduated, coming in, but also inviting friends and new people and um, people from crew at Miami, getting involved, which is cool. And feeling like they get plugged in immediately, which is awesome. And so that's not, I mean, I can't say that's a testament to us really. It's like, to everybody within the group, they just are inclusive. It's just an inclusive group and open and honest and whatever. It's like we kind of give off a vibe. It's like you just be real, right? Just be you. We're going through this together, kind of like the whole theme of this podcast in a way, right?
We're just lost trying to figure it out.
Like we're figuring this out together, right? Obviously, like being rooted in the gospel, right? Being rooted in Jesus. But we're going through this together, man. We're still learning, and so and I'm still learning, stuff, right? And but yeah, no, I would say that transition's huge, and especially coming out of high school um, into young adults, but also when it comes to, you're in your 25, 26, 27, coming too, right? And like still being able to have like, a community and people that you can be a part of is huge. We're relational people. I've said it on Thursdays, but like we're meant to do relation with one another because we're created by a relational God. And so we're meant to do life with other people. And, that's the point of the church, right? And sometimes it's difficult to do that on a Sunday, right? And so, I mean, that's been the whole push, like small groups, you name it. But I really do believe that it's been, transformational for, and like I say, humbly say, it's like not us at all. It's all God, thankfully. And, humbly, he's given us the opportunity to lead and to host. But it's been transformational for some people just to get involved because it's given them a sense of, you know, a community of people and friends that they can, talk with and hang out with and you name it. And so I would say it's been pretty awesome and pretty cool to witness.
So my next question was going to be, what's a story where community changed someone's life? But I'm changing that to that's a plug. That if you haven't listened to Nate's episode, go listen to that
I was gonna call him out
because
too.
that is like an incredible story.
Yeah.
So shout out that if you haven't listened to the prior episode where Nate shares his story, that answers that question. So
Yeah.
and it answers it really well and really in
It
depth.
does. Yeah.
But moving forward, so you talked about accountability,
Mm-hmm.
and that played a big role in my life in coming to young adults and getting plugged in and finding that is how do you help people go from just attending regular Sunday church to actually finding friendships and accountability?
Well, I mean, I think it starts. It starts with just, having building a relationship. I think it starts building a relationship with them and getting to know them and you name it. I think that's the foundation really. Because if there is no sense of like connection, like you're not, building a relationship with them and there's really no connection, right? There's going to be nothing that's going to tie them back to it. And so that's really been the impetus on like the whole ministry is like building relationships with one another, and building ways for us to just go out and do things together. And so I think that's where it starts. It starts with the relation. It starts being intentional about it too, right? And so, and I'm not perfect at it, but I'm really just trying to be intentional on communication and communicating with people within young adults, and really just getting an idea of like where they're at and like what's going on. And I would say through Group Me, which is the thing that we use to communicate. We communicate weekly through there. I mean, there might be some times where, a little dry, but we try to. I feel like communication lately has been really good, and so I think that's where it starts. Is really just communication, relationship, and being intentional about reaching out and really just caring about them. Right? It's like, I care about what you're going through. I care about you, and you name it. And from there, I think then it becomes more of a realer conversation of discipleship and starting to lead and to walk through with them about this relationship that we have with Jesus and this relationship that we have with the Lord, and walking through, what does that look like? What does it look like to be a believer, to be a Christian, to be a faithful Christian, and especially when it comes to school and when it comes to finding, work and building that, and then also when it comes to getting married and building a family, what does that look like? And yeah, so, and it's messy. It's not anything perfect, but I think that's the beauty behind it, is that it doesn't have to be put together at all. It doesn't. We're figuring it out together. I think that for me, I got to, because growing up, I don't know, I felt like I had to have things put together. I feel like I had to have things figured out, and had to, like, from a perspective from other people, like, I had to have it figured out. But I will shout out Andy to this, because I think he does it really well. And that is, we're going through this together. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to figure this out. And that's a beautiful process. And I think when you do that, and especially when you start to bring people in and start to do relationships with other people, they realize, hey, we're not perfect people, right? And we're trying to figure this out together. And then I feel like that in itself, like, it, gets them plugged in, right? And so for Skylar and I, we have an open door policy, and that's something that we've cared about from the very beginning of us getting married. From us just being involved with running, like getting involved with young adults. We talk about the OG young adults, of running a small group, and then we had the opportunity to go to Florida in 2020, which was a terrible year to do anything, but God led us, and we followed that lead and call in our life, and we actually led a young singles young adult ministry there, which is cool. And we thought we'd still be there to this day, but God had different plans and was preparing us for where we're at today. And it's super cool to see that. But we have an open door policy. It's like, hey, you can come over whenever you want. And yeah, we have kids, and yeah, the house is going to look crazy, and yeah, it may not look like what it may look like on a Thursday night, but like, we are wanting to be real and have conversations with you. And I think it starts by being available, and letting them know that you are available, and being intentional about that. So I don't know if that fully answers it, but that's kind of my answer to that.
I'd like to add to that too. For me, like, getting in the young adults, I think one could, like, plant the seed and, like, get close as much as you can,
Mm-hmm.
but it is up to the individual on if they want to go or not. I know for me, like, when I was in high school, I graduated early, so I had two options, which was stay in high school for the rest of the year or go to young adults. And so I attended like a high school class one more time, and I was like, well, I'm the only one here with a beard, so I'm not staying here no more. But my dad kept telling me to go young adults, and it took me months. Like, I was like, no, I'm good where I'm at. I'm content. I'm normally like a pretty like when I'm in a content spot, I'll just stay there. It's like change for me. I don't like it. I've adapted more because like I'm a maintenance guy now, so there's not really any contentment there. You're always doing something different. So, but anyway, we went to like a guy's event. Our church calls it Primal, but my dad had introduced me to Andrew, and so I was like, this guy looks like Spider-Man. But I'll go ahead and go.
Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. And so I went that Thursday, and ever since it's been like what, 3 years, 4 years now.
Over
Oh,
3 years,
yeah.
man, because we've
How
been.
old's Hudson? I think he's 3. Yeah. I
No,
talked about-
I've been
Hudson's-
going for
Hudson's-
longer than
yeah,
that.
he's been
Ish,
going way
so.
longer than Hudson.
Well, no, it could.
Yeah.
He was shortly before, so yeah, it's what,
No.
4 years? I think. I don't know. I lose track.
Yeah,
'Cause I think
I
I was-
don't attend.
I mean, what's crazy is we started taking over young adults 2023.
Mhm.
So yeah, 2023. So over 2 years is when we've been, and you were with Andy or Andrew. I'm sorry, I
You
can't
can
call
say
him Andrew.
I only
Andy.
say Andrew. Yeah.
It's Andy.
I saw Andy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's probably gonna listen to this podcast and just crack up at that. But yeah, you probably going to see, when they were
It's-
leading for a year or maybe
Yeah,
6 months.
It's had to be 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
But
that tracks.
yeah, it takes the individual to make that choice, and I feel like the church like yearly calling out, they call out the small groups yearly, and just kind of planting that idea in their head too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think that ties back into accountability a little bit because I want to say if it wasn't for Cameron and Andy, like trying to push me like to do stuff, especially like doing an accountability group or going to, I'm like, I'm good. I don't feel like being social.
Mhm.
I don't want to go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think having that person when you find them is beneficial.
Mhm.
That if you guys click or whatever, have that person to push you to go
Mm-hmm.
to young adults or go to do a small group or do something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think it can't be myself or even Skylar. It's got to be the people like who are actively attending young adults. I mean, I'll shout out to you, Will, man. You've been amazing in that. And I would just say, like, when it comes to Sunday mornings too, like
Mhm.
our church is multi-campus and we're growing, so it's hard for us to be like, we don't go to the main campus, so it's difficult to have those conversations and to meet new people. What's funny is Nate, my mom actually pointed him out because he would come with his parents and he would sit on the right hand side, and they would maybe come in a little bit late and then they would leave immediately. And she was like, you need to go talk to that guy. And every time I would try to find him, he wouldn't be there. And then all of a sudden, Nick, one of our pastors, he messaged me. He's like, hey, I've been, talking with this one guy, and anyways, his name's Nate. He might be reaching out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sounds great. And he ends up reaching out to me, and we grabbed some lunch at Chipotle, and I realized he's that guy who was, sitting on the right-hand side. I'm like, this is a crazy, this is finally happening. But it's so difficult, regardless. It's so difficult for us to have those conversations. And so, like, it's really cool, like Will, and also, like Hannah and Mitch and Graham and others who actively attend, Noah, Warren, you name it. And just having conversations, inviting and making, people who are coming to church for the first time, welcome, but then also letting them know, like, hey, there is an opportunity for you to get involved with, a group of people like your age, and it's on Thursdays or whatever. And so, yeah, just like having that, conversation, and like I mentioned, being intentional and being relational. And so,
Well, and that's something that we even discussed at like our first meeting when we first took over of, hey, like we can't do everything ourselves. Like we can't reach every single young adult. There's multiple campuses, whatever. And so we have discussed that with the group, like from the front, because it is hard when I work from home. Drew has like a small knit community at his work. And then we're solely at just one campus. And so it's been really cool to see everybody else just invite others or tell other people. And then it's like funny because sometimes some of those people are like somehow connected with the other person over here that like they wouldn't even think to invite or like come to our church. And so it's been really cool because we really just can't do that ourselves,
Yeah. I mean, I remember
or just ourselves, I should say.
you're right. And it's also cool to see like we have well, she's now starting to get more involved, but in the beginning, she didn't go to our church. Like we have a couple young adults who don't even go to our church, but got involved. And it's like, wow, that's kind of crazy, you know? But they got plugged in and, you know, and they've been coming for, you know, a couple of years now and you name it. I would say like Nate's a huge story, you know, but then at the same time, you know, there's you know, other examples of that. And like Emily and Mitch, I would say, you know, another really cool story of them being able to meet, you name it. And her not even going to one church, but getting involved with young adults. And yeah, so
Yeah, I would say young adults is a good, I don't know, pathway. And especially if you're coming from the outside like Nate is,
mm-hmm.
okay, I go to church, whatever, you know, go sit and listen. I'm not saying like Sunday mornings is stupid, but sometimes you need more substance. You need to connect with somebody. So it's easy to just go sit in a pew.
Yeah.
And I know we don't use pews anymore, but in my old school Baptist said, go sit in a pew, you know,
Yeah.
on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So having that to kind of bounce back in that community.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump into a question more towards, because I know being in young adults for a while is you guys will ask a lot of questions and you'll hear a lot of silence.
Mm-hmm.
And so as young adult leaders, what are some struggles you see people wrestling with, but often are scared to admit it or share? So try, like, don't go into specific, like using people's names and stuff,
Yeah.
but like that, like they're scared to like open up about that they're struggling with, but they'll come pull you across on the side or something, or send you a message or call you that, hey, I'm struggling with this. I don't know what to do. How can you help, or something like that?
Sure. Yeah. I would say the overall umbrella under that, or overall umbrella is purpose and identity. And I think there's multiple different avenues that you can take from that. Whether it is, hey, I just started, like, I've been going to school for 2 years and I don't want to continue to do what I'm doing. Uh, am I a failure? Um, or it comes to, you know, um, I lost my job and I can't, you know, find another job, you know, and you name it. So I would say overall purpose and, you know, identity is like their purpose, right? What is their purpose? Because there's so much change that can happen. And I think sometimes, and I believed this when I graduated high school, is like I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out. If I didn't have it figured out, then I'm going to be a failure in other people's eyes. And I had to realize that is not true. And I also had to realize that I can't live up to the expectations that others may put on to me as well, right? Even if it is my own parents, right? Um, and it's not to say that they don't have what's best for me, right? But at the same time, it's like I had to realize I had to, you know, follow the calling that God had on my own life, right? But sometimes that's not what I see. That's not what I cling to as my identity. I cling to, oh, my identity is found in work or like what I'm doing for school, or especially when you're in the thick of it and you know you have a ton of classes and a ton of exams and a ton of responsibilities in that environment, and it's just so difficult for you to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? In that example. And there's a lot of young adults who are in that time right now of college and figuring out what they want to do. And so, you know, that's having those conversations, right? It's like, what is your like, what do you think your purpose is, right? What do you think that purpose is? Um, and also like encouraging them that they don't have to have it all figured out. And even if they choose a different path or whatever, like that's okay. Like you can do that. Like just ultimately your identity isn't found in the actions and the things that you're doing. Um, but it's truly found in the Lord. It's found in Jesus. He's the one who's given you the passion, the joy, the whatever, the talents. Pursue what he wants for you and pursue that alone, and have peace in that, right? There is a peace in the journey. And I think that's something I just, was learned recently. It's a lot of time, like I'm a vision caster, like I like to vision out. And that kind of got me in trouble when I was younger because I kind of grew up a little too fast on my own doing. And I just wasn't present, and not being present, unfortunately, like my my joy I thought was found in accomplishing whatever I was doing, like at the end of the tunnel, like, oh, that's the joy. But a lot of times the joy is found in the journey and getting to where you want to be, because there's always going to be a next thing, right? And so you're going to graduate, you're going to get a degree. The next thing is finding a job, right? And then you get the job, and then the next thing is, getting, married, or maybe you're getting married while you're in school, and the next is like having kids, like whatever. Like there's always going to be a next thing. And if you tie your like sense of joy and satisfaction to the end result, then you're gonna miss out on the journey and what it is to get there, and you're not going to be present, and you're not going to be in the moment. And you're going to get to the point where you're going to look back and you're going to like, where did the time go? And so, um, I know it's kind of a lot there, but I would say, yeah, it really comes down to purpose and identity. And like I mentioned, there's a bunch of different avenues it takes, but that's kind of an example. And common conversations that, are had. And it's really kind of around that. But then if you had anything to add there.
Yeah, I would also say that a lot of the times, everyone comes into young adults and then everyone's excited to get out. They all want to get married. And so they're all like, okay, well, am I going to be single forever?
Mm.
Am I going to be stuck in young adults forever? Whatever it is. But no, but I mean, it is true. Like there are some, especially if they're inching towards 30, of
I feel
what
attacked.
I'm looking at Jon right now. No. Specific, and I'm speaking mostly just on the girls' side. We long to be a wife, we long to be a mom. And so, and like that's kind of like, as women, sometimes that is we feel like that's our calling, that's our purpose. And so when it's not happening yet, then we're like, well, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? So kind of going alongside of identity as well, and purpose. But I do think that a lot of them are just longing for that, like the marriage aspect. But then also, yeah, just like purpose. And I remember thinking the same thing. And honestly, I still feel that way sometimes, of like, am I just a mom, just a wife, just this, just that? I think that that's just like a normal human like response, and just like really any season between 18 and 30 something probably. But it's really cool that we can all just kind of like, even if it's different things that we're wrestling with, we can come alongside of one another and like, okay, we don't know, we don't have control, but we all have the same common ground of like, God has the control, he has the say, he is the one who's calling us and equipping us. And so we're just able to like learn and navigate all together.
Yeah. And just harping on the fact that you're not a failure, or there's not something that's wrong with you if you're not where you think you should be, right?
Mhm.
And that comes down to the expectation piece, right? Because we can hold high expectations on our own self, and I've held high expectations on my own self, ever since I was in high school, right? And so it's just realizing like you're you're not a failure. You're not like you're where God wants you to be, right? And having peace in that, right? And having peace in the fact that um, you know, whatever, like if you're, if you're not where you planned, or whatever that is. And so just really kind of walking through that and navigating that with them and letting them know that um, they they are loved and where they're at is for a reason and for a purpose, and for them just to be present with Jesus and just have faith that he's going to lead them to where he wants them. So
You got anything, Will?
No.
All right, so we'll jump in to our next question is what should you look in a good community and what should you bring to it yourself?
what should you look for?
What should you look for in a good community, and what should you bring to it yourself?
Yeah.
Interesting way that it's worded.
So I'll answer the back end of the question first.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it sounds super simple, but it's super complicated. Be open-minded. So come into it like a new community. So let's say you're coming into young adults, is don't be closed off. Don't be judgy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're in, what is it? I can't think of the word. We're inherently judgmental people, whether we admit it or not.
Yeah.
And so to help create that environment, be open-minded of, hey, if you share a struggle, like, don't judge that person. Like,
Mhm.
first off, that person had the guts to say it and say, hey, I'm going through this. And maybe you sharing your struggle resonates with him
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, I'm going through that too. And that can, lead to, hey, just so you know, I was going through this too. Here's how I did it, or here's how I went through it. So kind of be open-minded and be okay with getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. I would say I would look at how well connected like they are, and also are is it is are they just meeting on that specific day, right? Or are they communicating with one another and well connected outside of that? And so that's something that I'm passionate about, and it's hard sometimes because we have kids and we're just not able to go out as often as we would like to. But like doing, life with one another. I think that really looks like when it comes to good communities, like when you're doing life with one another and hanging out throughout the week and communicating and talking and doing things together. Because it's a well connected, group. They care about one another, and they care about where they're at. And it goes to and it kind of ties into what you're saying there, John, is, you know, being real and being open with one another, and not judging with where you're at all, and not being cliquey too. And so, I've been a product of that, unfortunately, where I was a part of the clique and I didn't realize it. And um, it was an eye-opening thing after I got out of all of that. And I'm like, whoa, and I saw the people who were affected that are on the outside, and I was oblivious to it, right? And so, and now as having the opportunity to lead, it's like I never want to foster that atmosphere. I never want to foster that behavior. And so I'm not going to be the type of person to do that, right? Um, because we care and we love everybody. It's not a close group net, right? That's not what we're when I say that, it's not an exclusive. It's not an exclusive thing. It's not an exclusive community. So I think that's another trait too. Is it's inclusive. It's encouraged for people to invite their friends and for you to come to. It's not something that, oh man, you got to be invited to, and you got to you know you got to be just like us, right? No, that's not who Jesus was. That's not who his character was. That's not who he claims to be, and that's not who he claims for us to be as Christians. And so, um, I would say, yeah, it's like, are we well connected with one another? Are we, communicating with one another? And that really will show you, do people care, right? And I don't know. For me, coming on the outside in, if I see that, and I see, others welcome me, and it's not just one person, right? It's everybody, welcoming in. I think right then and there, it's like, okay, yeah, I think this is a good community. I want to be a part of this, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and I would say too that the biggest thing is you don't want to be isolated. Like, you don't want to isolate yourself, because I think it's very easy to be in a standoffish state of when you are entering a new community, or you're just trying to figure it out, and you don't want to be yourself, you don't want to open up too much, whatever that is. We have some weird people in young adults, and I love it. We have the widest spectrum of personality, interests, all the things, and it is so fun, and I think that's what makes a good community a good community. When everyone's the same, it's very boring, and we all just kind of run out of things to talk about because we've talked about it all. Where if Will comes over and he starts talking about his Harley, then I'm gonna be like, oh, okay.
I
What
got my
about this
soccer
Harley?
mobile.
Yeah. you know, and so he has interest in Harley or whatever, but then we'll talk about the summer I turned pretty, or whatever everyone's interests are, and it's just so cool. Um, and yeah, so just being yourself, being um open to just having conversation with everybody, trying not to isolate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but then also looking for the people in the in that community, making sure that they're inclusive as well. And so
Yeah. Something that I know Andy did a little bit of, and that's kind of breakout sessions, but I think it's had such a positive feedback, and people just have been loving it. And recently it's, we would have a big group discussion, and sometimes it's difficult for people to, to your point, it's like they don't want to, they don't feel comfortable opening up or talking about certain things. But what we started to incorporate recently is, I would do a Devo, or, I would recap maybe what we talked about the prior couple of weeks. And then we kind of break out into smaller groups and talk. And what's been so cool is that I feel like people just don't want to stop having conversations. And so you can just, from right then and there, you can say, okay, yeah, this is genuine. This is real. This is authentic. This isn't something they have to do, right? They want to be there, right? Thursdays is honestly one of the favorite, my favorite days of the week. And it's just because we want to be around one another. And so I would say, yeah, it's been a blessing to be part of, right? And like I said, it's all glory to God. He deserves the praise and for that. Um, but yeah, it's just been cool to be part of and to witness, um, and so yeah.
One thing I'll shout out, and it's a compliment, is so we've been through Brooke and Devin, we've been through Andy and Kayla, and we've been through you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that is kind of the common denominators out of all three leaders is the welcoming environment. And like you said, Skylar, there's a wide variety of people and personalities, and everybody feels welcome. So, which I don't know if that's just how we've done it, and I don't know how transferring three leaderships it's been the same, but it has been that, and it's always been a welcoming environment. And I think because you're the outsider coming in, how's your experience coming in? What did it feel like for you?
I think it's the idea, because for me, there was a phase where we were like church hoppers for a while, and you always got like that come in the church, this fake like, oh, welcome in, like, what do you do for work? Oh, that's cool, yeah, that's nice. How old? Oh, you're in high school, cool. You should try it. Anyway, but coming to young adults, I feel like for everyone, especially like walking in, it's chill, it's honest, it's real. You sit down, it's like, what do you do for work? On this, oh, that's cool, and you dive more into that. Like you're getting to know the person, and without the motive of like, I want them here next week. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the motive, but you know what I mean. You're just being real with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then we'll kind of jump in. 1 second. I'm losing my train of thought here. So just to kind of wrap up a little bit, I have a couple more questions. What's one small but powerful step a young adult can take this week to move closer to community or like deeper faith?
It's a deep question, man. I would say,
And this can be geared to the believer or the non-believer.
Do it. Just move.
right.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, you gotta move, but I would say, just like really kind of, I don't want this to come off and sound super like businessy, because like that's not really what the intention is behind, but there has to be a direction, and you're only going to move, right, to your point, if there's a direction that you're moving towards. And so being real with where you're at and understanding like what are your goals, like what do you want to do, like where do you want to be, um and really kind of setting, casting that vision, but also at the same time, it's like setting up rhythms and things to put in place to move forward in that direction. But at the same time, so I would say that's one thing, right? Because you got to have a direction, you got to have something you're moving towards. But rest is so key to that. To be able to just have moments of rest, because the reality is they probably are already like they have some sort of like idea, like some vision, like where they want, like in school, right? But life is absolutely busy, and I would just say like make sure that you spend time like to just rest in Jesus, and also to rest in things that like give you rest, whether it's working out or different hobbies, or just trying to incorporate something that you're not bound to whatever you're doing with school or your work or hobbies or whatever. Like find a place, like a day and things in your daily rhythms, like of rest, because life is always going to be busy, and it's never not going to be busy. And so I would say that's probably one thing I would absolutely say is like try to incorporate that rhythm, and never let that go. And so one thing, and I've talked about it in young adults before, but like when we look at there's this analogy that was given in the internship program at our church, and it's making sure that we're abiding from a place of rest, right? A lot of times you are working to find rest, like you're working for the weekend, or working for the couple days off, like or you can't wait until you don't have class anymore. But if you're like, yeah, I can't wait for those days, and you get to that point and you're like, all right, I'm just going to veg out or whatever. Then you realize I'm actually not fully resting. So it's like, how do you work from a place of rest? And I think it comes down to being able to incorporate, daily rhythms of taking time to yourself, and just kind of detoxing from, what's going on. And so I would say that's probably at the beginning part. Yeah, it's important. Like you want to have like a direction of like where you're going and stuff, but the rest piece is absolutely key so that you don't get bogged down by the busyness that is inevitable and it's always going to be there. But how do you respond in the midst of the busyness? And I think being able to rest and identifying what that is, and it's different for every single person. So you got to identify that and make sure that you incorporate that throughout your week.
I would also say that you should just, if you're thinking about getting in a community or you are in a community, you just want to deeper in your faith or just grow closer in that community. I think even just asking one of the people within the group to get coffee or tea if you don't like coffee, or
Or go
just like
golfing.
getting together, yeah, or go golfing with them,
You should definitely go
or get dinner, whatever that is for you. But I think that it doesn't have to be anything super crazy of just, hey, can we go and chat for an hour? And like you can even give them a 2-week time frame because I know everyone's life's busy, but if you give them a 2-week time frame, they might say yes and they might carve that time out. But I think that's just one of the first steps of just like reaching out within that community because I think that kind of kills two birds with one stone. You deepen the community, but then, or you grow closer in the community, but then you can have a conversation that might lead for you to deepen your faith as well. And all the other things kind of domino effects after that. And so just reach out to somebody, maybe that you trust.
Yeah, accountability is huge. And I mean, it just goes back to, I think, what we've already communicated and talked about is just communication and the relation, right, to that. And so, if, you know, I think just being able to go to somebody and talk to them and to be real with them, and to just have that person that you can communicate with, is key. So yeah, I would agree. It's a great point.
So I have a short, kind of one multi-word answer is sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. One of our, I call it, I don't know how to, it's one of our mentors. We have like kind of like mentorship in our
Mhm.
company, and it's actually like our two oldest people employed at our company.
Mm.
But that's a saying is, hey, if you guys want to be successful and you want to do good, and I want to use the analogy, find your community, you got to stop, you got to slow down, kind of have rest,
Mhm.
get your bearings so you can go fast. You can perform, you can do whatever, you can get in your community and thrive.
Yeah.
So,
So how I've always heard it is slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's funny. The guy who actually brought that to existence with my company was the absolute opposite. He did not slow down and was smooth with things. He was just trying to be as fast as possible. I was like, the irony in this is hilarious, but that saying is so true. And so, yeah, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. There's no rush. And make sure to kind of take some time to rest and you name it. So
Yeah, take a deep breath, be like,
yeah, I would also say, and this is something that I, you know, have incorporated throughout my day, and it's been great. And it's just prayer. In the moments where you do feel like everything's against you, or you're just so stressed or busy or whatnot, is just take time to pray, and just seek Jesus and just talk with Him. Right? I'm talking. We're talking about like having conversations with one another, and that's so important. But if you're not talking with Jesus, then you know, um, yeah, it's just you need to be, plugged in with Him. Like it's a relationship that you have with Him. Like it's the supplement is having conversations with each other, and ultimately we're pushing, the envelope and challenging to grow closer with your, walk with Jesus. But just pray, like and communicate, right? just communicate with the Lord and just let him know where you're at. And I would say like just the other day, we were going through some tough stuff personally, and just it was just one of those things where everything seemed against us. And when I say us, Skylar and I, and we just didn't have answers, and we didn't know, and we still don't know in some areas. But I'm like, let's just pray, and we prayed, and what was cool is right after the prayer, God answered a portion of why we were praying, like right then and there. It was so cool. And it's just one of those things, like he's there. God is there. He's present. He's wanting us to go to him. He's wanting us to talk to him. He's wanting us to lean in on him. He's wanting to take our struggles and our burdens, right? Because we're not meant to. We're not designed to take, carry our burdens, right? That's the beauty of the gospel, is that we have freedom in the blood that was shed, and that it is, upon Jesus that he's taking care of those burdens, right? We're not meant to go through that. But sometimes we lose sight of that. And I'm not gonna lie, I have, and, past, couple months in some areas. And so just taking that time to pray, and just communicate with him. There's a peace that comes from that and from him, and, in those moments, and, and just kind of a realization. It's like, okay, all right. Yes, school may be a lot. Life might be a lot. Work sucks. You name it, XYZ, you fill in the blank. However, I, I don't have to, my identity doesn't lie in that. It lies within the Lord. And, I just gotta take some time to just rest and breathe. And he kind of, he gives that to us. So.
What do you got, Will?
What question are we on again?
It's what's one small but powerful step a young adult can take this week to move closer to community or deeper faith?
Well, I kind of said it at the start. Like for me, I'm like a throw me to the wolves kind of guy. So I just had to make that move to like move into young adults, or like deepening my faith as far as accountability goes. Like I need to stop thinking about it. Just move. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm an overthinker, so like once I get into that mindset, I'm like, I can't do it. I feel like there's another question here, which is how do you personally reset when life feels overwhelming or unclear? The reason why I ask is because I feel like Drew had already answered that a little bit with the prayer thing, which I agree. Because for me, like I've had situations where at work I'm stressed, and my runaway is like, instead of wanting to punch a wall, first off I jokingly cry. But second, which really is the first, I go and I pray about it, like step away, pray about it, and then come back. And having that sort of mindset really helps.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The initial part to me answering this probably felt so off, and it's because I was looking at the bottom question, and what's a habit or rhythm you think every young adult should build in their life for long-term growth? So that's where the whole like direction thing.
Yeah, I feel like you answered all three of them.
I 100% did.
I just
but
let him take the floor. I was like,
But I
he's just
did it.
hitting it.
I know, but I'm like, that's why. Yeah, I may not be apparent to like.
They
applicable
kind of
to the topic.
lead into each other.
Yeah, they really did. They moved really good.
They did.
You did that beautifully. Just
Yeah.
beautiful set.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we got actually three questions, except you got to answer. I forget it. I forget how we reworded the last question, but
We need to call Kendra.
I know. Be like, hey, you're remoted in. What was that question we asked last episode? So like, and this is more personalized. How do you reset when everything gets kind of overwhelming? We'll let Skylar go. You already answered it.
I think when I'm feeling overwhelmed or I'm just so confused on just like what's going on, and like Drew had explained a little bit of just our current situation, you just feel I just feel so stuck in a scenario. And I think obviously one and first and foremost is just prayer. But two, I think honestly, community has been so good to lean on as well. Just relying on the Lord to um, just give you guidance and peace and just, talk with Him. But then having community and the people around us just encouraging one another and um, just pointing us back to Jesus. And then sometimes too, just like getting quiet, whether if it's like listening to worship in the background or just sitting in your closet on your floor, and just and just resetting that way. There's been a lot of times Drew's walked in our closet and I'm just sitting there and he's like, "What in the world are you doing?"
Okay, I partake in that sometimes too.
It's your war room.
I'm hiding from
Yeah.
my kids.
It's it's either that or the bathroom now. But
That's good.
when you get in such a like quiet place and you're just able to block out all the noise, even the white noise in our closet, it's like every white noise is like gone. And just praying, and then I feel like when all of that noise is away, you can hear Him just respond back to you. And so he had mentioned like when we're praying immediately, like there was 1/3 or 4th of our prayer that was answered right away. And that's, I mean, you call upon Him, like when He is near, when you are near, He is near. And that was really a true perfect example of that. And so just trying to get near to Him is probably the best thing.
I'd say for me, so try to make intentional time for because my schedule can get super busy, and stop and be like, hey, I got to take me time. I got to stop. So don't schedule anything and go. So with traveling and stuff, I got more comfortable with it. I would never go out to eat by myself. Sometimes that's really nice. So go out, treat yourself to a nicer dinner, or go for a walk in the park or something, just to kind of clear your head and just chill. And then that's when, you pray, have that time of it's just you leave your work phone, turn it off, do whatever, just disconnect for a little bit. So that's kind of how I'll do it, is I just, no, I'm not going to schedule anything. I'm not going to hang out with anybody. I'm just going to chill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to go for drives all the
Those are
time.
the best.
Drives are awesome. And we like doing it still to this day, even with the girls. I love that. I mean, you guys can, testify to this. Where we live, like just kind of the country, the hills, you name it. It's just beautiful to drive out, this area. And so, just like driving out into the hills and the country roads and just being able to have the windows down, weather permitting, and just, you know, drive and listen to worship music, or just being present, or just with one another, or not saying anything at all. There's been so many times where I just don't want to listen to anything, and I'll just go for a drive with the windows down, and just the wind, whatever, just pray, and really not try to think about anything. And sometimes it's easy to, as a guy, just not to think about, like, stereotypically, like, I ask the question, like, what do you think about? Nothing. Sometimes that's true.
You know what I said to that? Because Emily and Mitch were over for young adults one day, and Emily was like, I asked Mitch, asking Mitch this question, like, what do you think of? And Mitch was like, nothing, you know? And so for me, I'm like, I feel like there's so many voices going on in our head that we just suppress it to nothing.
Yeah.
Because like we could probably like just grab one thing and then like, okay, now we're thinking of something. Because
Yeah.
that's my case. It's like I feel like I have so much going on in my head where I'm like, okay, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of nothing because there's so much.
Yeah. But sometimes it could be bad because you can actually, like, I don't know. I feel like I've fallen into this trap of, oh crap, I really am thinking of nothing, and it's hard for me to try to think of things. And that's kind of been, it's weird. I know. It's actually been a recent struggle of mine. AI doesn't help with that. It's like cognitive thinking. It's like, oh man, like, am I not able to actually think anymore? Like, come up with like creative ideas or whatever. Yeah, it's a personal issue I'm going through right now, but
I feel your pain on that. So sometimes, which I struggle with it, is I'll like emotionally disconnect.
Mhm.
So like I can vibe with you, I can feel you, but then there's certain points where like I don't know if my battery's dead or whatever. I'm just like, we're done,
Mm.
Mhm.
and it is like black and white. I don't care. It's just going through, so it makes it difficult sometimes. And yeah, leading back to the thing is like mine goes a million miles an hour, and it's just like, yeah, I'm nothing. I'm just here.
yeah.
But the roads thing, that's kind of what got me into motorcycles a little bit.
Two-wheel
Because when you're
therapy.
going, yeah, two-wheel therapy, when you're going, 60 on a back road, especially, I enjoy night riding
Mm-hmm.
a little bit better than daytime riding because like the sides just disappear and it's just straight or whatever. You're literally not thinking of anything except, like in my instance, survival. Don't die. That's like
That should
all
be
going
your
down the road is just don't die.
consistent thought
Don't
of
die.
riding a
Looking
motorcycle.
left, looking right.
Yeah, look around. Who's coming up behind you? Are they coming up too fast? You have to duck out. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this one site, and I've seen it twice on a motorcycle, but I know this is weird of me to say, but it's one of those things I look at every time. I'm like, if I'm gonna have a motorcycle accident, it's gonna end my life. I want it to be right here. Like I want this to be the last thing I see, because we go around this curve and all you see is just nature, hills, views, and I love that. And
All
so
right,
for me,
so you just want it to be
it's like besides the pavement, I want that to be the last thing.
yeah,
I see.
it's like we're going around the bend, boom.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm just
no,
saying,
that's
like,
that's actually.
if I'm going down
don't
this
want
hill and like a bird smacks me in the head or something, because I feel like if it's gonna be a bird for me.
Yeah,
I feel like
what
a
if
bird just gonna come
that
over here
what
and cause my final
gosh, man,
demise.
that's terrible.
But anyway, the point is the view is so awesome,
Mm.
and like I feel like it's nothing a car, like being in a car, can provide. It's like the idea of being on a motorcycle and it's just surrounding you. You're not inside of a cage.
Mm.
It's such a nice sight. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know. So I'm pretty sure it was last night. So we went after night of worship. It
Mhm.
was Josh, us two, and then his parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was the sun was set, and it was just. I'm pretty sure it was just cornfields, and I saw bikes, and then the sunset, and I was like, bruh, yes, this is beautiful.
And that is why I need a motorcycle, baby.
Not with the mindset of like, if I die here.
No,
Yeah, no. We didn't talk about that.
It's the two-wheel therapy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Good, nice try, Drew.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. In the
So here, word of
In the
advice:
beginning.
buy it before you get married.
yeah.
Not after.
Too late for that.
It's too late for that. We did make a deal though, right? And the deal was if I can't have a motorcycle, I can get a Miata. So
Skylar, let him get a motorcycle.
Well, the other day he was asking if he could get a moped. And I said, absolutely not.
I want to see that.
Imagine him trying to
Please
keep up
say
with
yes.
us.
it doesn't. No, that just wouldn't happen. I would have to like convince other people to get mopeds.
Not happening.
And we would have a moped gang.
after service? You can ride our mopeds after service, guys. Where you guys want to go? Waffle House? Go Waffle House, guys. On your mopeds. Put your open face helmet on. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. It's
Ding,
not
ding, ding,
happening.
Why can I picture that?
Not happening, man.
I could see you could convince Graham to get a moped. He always
Oh,
wanted.
100%.
Oh,
You always
dude, I
want
can
one.
convince Graham.
I could see Graham straight postured on a moped with one of those helmets on.
Bro, you need to get like a hockey helmet. You need to wear a hockey helmet when you're riding a moped.
Bicycle bell for a horn.
Dude, like if you're gonna go like that route, you just gotta go all in. You just gotta commit to the character.
Yeah, Drew, just commit.
You can backpack with me, but just know for going down that hill in Brookville, hold on extra tight because
Yeah.
I'm okay to die there.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe get a Miata one day.
Mm-hmm.
No, I probably will have
Just
it.
let him get a motorcycle.
Listen, Miatas are cool. All right. You know what the acronym for Miata is,
They're
right?
just as, I mean, literally, they're just as dangerous. So you might as well just get a
Miata is always the answer.
No,
Yeah.
motorcycle.
Anyways.
All right. So we're going to wrap up. But thanks for joining us today, Drew and Skylar. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for having us.
And you're our guinea pigs for the test mobile setup. So
I think it went pretty well.
yeah, I think it went pretty good.
Yeah.
But so once again, thanks for joining us. And so if any of this kind of hit for you guys listening, just know we're all trying to figure it out together. And if you know anybody that's going through anything right now that this could help, just go ahead and share it with them. But just thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Real Ones Real Talks podcast.